Hi guys! We had a chick brought to our hangar by subscribers who said they found it in an abandoned building. It fell out of the nest, and no one knows what to do with it. It's probably hard to tell its true size from the footage. In fact, it's about half the size of a sparrow. We have already visited the site of the discovery, walked through the corridors of the room which has been crumbling under the influence of time for decades. I must say that the birds chose a good place, relatively safe and cozy to build a nest. By the way, this is where the chick probably fell out. The boys told us that the birds had lived here for about 2 months, and one day they all flew away and one was abandoned. Whether it was sick or not, it's hard to tell, but the chick was left all alone. While we were watching the abandonment, a bird flew in with an insect in its teeth. Probably one of the parents. But to whom? The nest was empty. And I must say that the bird was so frightened that it was afraid to fly into the window at the sight of us. By the way, only one pane of glass is missing here, and it became the entrance for the birds. Even when we were filming outside the building, the birds sat on the roof and refused to come inside. Only a few shots were taken from a distance. In an effort to get footage and find out what kind of bird it was, we set up the camera on the windowsill. One of the parents flew in and the second hovered in the air, peeking around the corner, trying to understand what was going on. And finally, we managed to identify it from these images. It is a songbird, the black redstart. But most importantly, if the parents are here, the chicks must be nearby. We followed the bird and caught it a little off guard. That's the way it's always been. You really have to be careful with humans. It was here, in this room, that we found the foundling siblings. They're sitting on the pipes under the ceiling, blending in with the interior. We counted a total of 3 chicks all in the same room. It turns out that they did not fall out of the nest, but left it and are gradually learning to fly. While the parents are around, we brought them a 4th chick and wanted to bring it back to the family. We took a ladder, had one last look at the chick, and returned it to its mother's nest. And we set up a camera next to it to see if its mom and dad would find it and feed the one that had contact with humans. They say that if you hold a chick in your hand, the mother will give it up. And he was held by more than one hand in front of us. Let's hope these birds don't have such prejudices. We spent 2 hours watching the adult birds fly into the next room, but they never came near our baby. At the same time, the camera filmed 3 more chicks. The parents visited them regularly with bugs. By the way, one of the 3 chicks is noticeably bigger. Not only bigger, but much more energetic, all in motion. It is too early to draw any conclusions. Maybe the problem is in the nest. So we decided to move the chick, which by the way has already come out and is sitting next to it. Now it will be sitting on the pipe with its siblings, increasing the chance of detection by the parents. We installed a camera nearby and continued monitoring. Now our chick is on the far right. A few seconds passed and one decided to move. And then, 20 seconds later, it left the group altogether. Then another bird left. So the found chick was alone again. When we came in, the picture was as follows: 3 in a hug and 1 alone. Is it a legend that a mother will not accept someone she has nursed for so long just because of a human touch? It was decided to take the lonely chick to the hangar. It literally broke out immediately and began to demonstrate its flying abilities. I have to say he's not doing very well so far. Maybe even worse than his brothers, which is why he was found under the nest. But now there's no hurry, and we can see the chick from all sides. Against the backdrop of a soccer ball, you can see the true size of the chick. You can also see that the plumage on the breast is not fully formed. It looks more like fluff. The legs are thin and the tail is short. But even at this length, you can see that the tip of the tail is rusty. But the size of the tail is not the only thing that tells you that this is a baby. The color of the feathers of an adult black redstart is much darker. By the way, the baby is not as frightening as the parents, but at the same time it does not want to go voluntarily to the hands. A little more and he will learn to fly in our hangar, and there and up to adulthood is not far away. But it is still necessary to take him in hands and try to feed him. We'll try to replace mom and dad. Let's start with a fat, juicy fly. Even raccoons eat them, not to mention birds. But something went wrong. The beak swivels, but it doesn't eat. We can't assume it's not hungry. We also have an earthworm. But the chick also refuses to eat it. We've done everything we can think of. And we tried to simulate the situation, say mom brought it and tried to put it under the beak from top to bottom. And at the level of the beak, in front of the eyes, the worm was dangling and water was wetting it, but all in vain. The chick seems to be stressed by today's situation. The last thing we can do is offer it a drink of water. At least we've had a small success here. A few drops of life-giving moisture into the bird's system. By the way, the plumage is naturally very good at repelling water. The drops literally bounce off. Since we couldn't feed him, we had no choice but to take him back and hope for the best. And oh, miracle of miracles, he was recognized and finally fed. Two days later, we visited the chicks and found that there were only 3 left. But in just a few days, the chicks had increased their flying ability. Again, we thought that maybe it was a foundling that was missing, not fed and died. We looked in every corner, but still no chick. We thought it might have come back, so we went back the next day, but there were only 2 chicks. So they're all grown up and leaving their parents' house. Another day later, there wasn't a single chick left in the abandoned lot. Bottom line, guys, it's time to draw a conclusion. If you found a chick that fell out of the nest, it's probably not what you think it is. It may have grown up and left the nest because it's time for it to learn to fly. Don't be too quick to help, sometimes it can be harmful, and it's a good thing our story had a happy ending. That's all for now. Bye-bye.